Hey Virgo, this is your look at the astrology of January 2021. My name is Katie Sweetman. I'm an astrologer and psychic medium here in Brooklyn, New York, and I work under the name of Empowering Astrology, so you can follow me at empoweringastrology.com. So normally we do these horoscopes written, but starting in 2021, we're moving them online, we're moving them to video. So let's look at January 2021 for you. And as I've been saying to the other signs, the month is never a standalone thing in astrology. It connects to a bigger picture. So this month we have to see how January threads into the bigger picture. So that said, January in many ways, there's kind of like this irony that's happening. It's opening a new chapter, but at the same time, it's a chapter that's already been happening, already in play since 2018. It just sort of goes to a different part. It gets a little dramatic. It kind of creates a little friction. So, Virgo, you're not in the same place as some of the other signs. I think some of the other signs are feeling this a little bit more dramatically. For you, you're coming off of eclipse season, the eclipse that was at the end of November, the eclipse that was on the 14th of December. These were back and forth in the part of your chart that's about career, about home, where you live, the directions in your life. So those two areas, career and home, may very still much be, that's good English, Katie, very much well be on your mind as you go into the new year. So in January, we've sort of have two of the major players of the zodiac, two major planets in the heavens. They've changed signs. They're now in Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn. So Aquarius for you, Virgo, is about health, wellness, organization, work, sort of the mundane details that are actually quite necessary to making life run. Now, if this all sounds like Virgo keywords, you would not be mistaken. So there is something about this time that actually very much plugs into things that are in your wheelhouse, Virgo. Saturn is saying to you the next 2 years you are focused on health. They're focused on getting your sort of day-to-day human life in order. It's looking at diet and fitness, nutrition. It's getting doctor's appointments. It's maybe even looking at things that, like addiction, or things that you're attached to that need to go. They're not supporting you anymore. So the next 2 years, if you're not already healthy, are 2 years to get healthy. And, maybe Virgo, you love a plan, you love a challenge. So just sit down with Saturn at the start of this month and sort of write out your resolutions. And maybe it's a little cheesy to talk about New Year's resolutions, but, this is where Saturn is right now, except it's not resolutions for 2021. It's resolutions until 2023. So where do you want your physical life to be at the start of 2023? Do you need to make changes in your diet? Do you need to get organized? Yeah, even some Virgos need to get organized. Do you need to kind of create new systems? Because Aquarius is very much a sign of systems and networks, and maybe your old system and maybe your old network just is not working anymore. You have to build a new system. Having Aquarius in this part of your chart can help you look at alternative healing and alternative health. Maybe you need to get a new perspective on an old issue and looking in a place that you wouldn't normally look, which then brings me to Uranus. Uranus has been in the part of your astrology, Taurus, since May of 2018, March of 2019. Over a 7-year arc of time, until 2025, 2026, you are completely revolutionizing how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world, what you believe in, what's your faith, what's your truth, what's your meaning, maybe even going back to school if that's relevant, higher education. So this month, there's a lot of tension happening between that part of your chart and also this other part of your chart, work and taking care of your body and getting these kind of new systems and organizations happening. There's, maybe you need a radical rethink, Virgo. Maybe how you've been doing things has not been working. It's possible. I'm not sure. Mercury, which is your planet, starting on January 8th, is going to be in Capricorn. It's going to be in the part of your chart that's about who you are, how you express who you are. So maybe you're kind of feeling like this is who I am, but maybe you're starting to realize that who you thought you were is not who you are. Or maybe there's something that's really trying to shake up your world. Did I say Mercury in Capricorn? Yeah, Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury in Aquarius? Let's just double check that information. Apparently I cannot double check that information. But anyway, so that said, that's sort of where the focus is happening. It's Capricorn season this month. There's going to be a new moon in Capricorn on January 13th. And this new moon is talking about these themes around self and how you express who you are and your talents and whether you're taking your talents seriously. And if any of this sounds familiar, it's because it's an area of your life you were doing a lot of deep, intensive work on 2018, 2019, 2020. So if you kind of are still asking yourself, well, who am I? What are my talents? How am I sharing myself with the world, or sharing who I, inner self? Like, how am I sharing the truth of who I am with the world? This new moon is going to be in the same place in the sky as Pluto. So Pluto is saying that some part of who you thought you were, maybe it has to, and I'm a Scorpio, so I use maybe a little bit sometimes strong language or strong metaphors, but maybe it's a part of you that has to die, metaphorically, so that something new can come out of this time, because there's a lot of friction, there's a lot of tension in the sky in January of 2021. And I said this to all the signs, I'm just being kind of honest, like the astrology of January 2021 is not easy astrology. It's sort of pushing a lot of buttons, it's trying to create new things. For you, it's a little bit between like some bigger existential questions, but also how do these sort of bigger visions and bigger existential questions titrate down into real day-to-day life. And maybe you're used to your life running a certain way and it's not going that way anymore. Maybe you got to back up. Maybe you got to come up with a new plan. Maybe you got to come up with a new way of doing things. And Virgo, you're an earth sign. So earth signs, they take the longest to pivot. So a little bit more, kind of grounded and holding on to things. So, you're being asked to pivot this month, and maybe it's even a big pivot, not as big as some of the other signs, your Tauruses, your Leos, your Scorpios, your Aquarius, but nevertheless you're being asked to pivot this time, and you're being asked to open your eyes. And it's quite possibly that there's a lot of things in your blind spot that you've not been seeing, and maybe when you do see them, it's going to really connect the dots in a way that you've never connected the dots before. That said, Mars is going to go into Taurus. It's going to go into Taurus on January 6th. Taurus is this sign in your chart that talks about faith and truth and meaning and the world and how you see things. And it's going to meet up with Uranus on the 20th of January. But before it does that, it's going to make what's called a square to Saturn on January 13th. So there's this... like I said, something's trying to open your eyes, something's trying to get you to see things differently, and maybe you've just been in the way. I mean that lovingly, Virgo. Fast forward to the end of the month, there's a Leo full moon on January 28th, and that Leo full moon is in the last sign of your zodiac, and the last sign is about endings. Don't get nervous at that word, because everything that begins has to end. Every chapter that begins has to end. And this part of your chart is a very sacred place. It's a very quiet place. You have to go deep within. You have to let go. And so to that earlier point is like, maybe there's just something, you're on your own way. Well, nothing like a full moon in what's called your 12th sign to get you out of your way. So this full moon is really kicking into gear a lot of 2021 astrology. It's my pet theory that 2020 was meant to sort of get us all collectively to a certain point and to clear a lot of space. And then 2021 is where we got to do something with that space. But there's still the kind of the friction or the fight between the old and the new. So sort of keep that in mind as you go into January. So that said, Virgo, this is your look at the astrology of January 2021. My name again is Katie Sweetman. Follow me on empoweringastrology.com for more astrology content. And till next month, take care. Bye.